a battle royal for an intercontinental title shot next week, and two world title matches on Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dropkicks and Attractions. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard to Dropkicks and Attractions. I am, of course, your podcaster's favorite podcaster, Xander Invictus, joined by just the most succulent cut of sweaty, gorgeous man meat there is. Big Bach, how are you, sir?
I am doing fine, Xander. Little iffy on that description, but who wouldn't be?
I think you're succulent, myself.
Wonderful. How are you doing?
Exhausted. We both had work today, and I worked almost as many hours as you did.
Yeah, today was rough.
I don't work as many hours as you do.
Right.
I pulled 9 hours.
Ouch.
Just a shade over 9 hours. Thank you, everybody, as always, for listening aboard. We're going to be at three wrestling events in August. Unfortunately, because of prior obligations and you weren't able to get work off, you're not going to be able to join us this time.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, but we've all been there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So August 1st, we are going to be at myself. I keep saying we, but you understand.
Yes.
Insane Wrestling Revolution. That is the promotion owned by ECW Original Rhino. It is going to be at the Fraternal Order of Police in Monroe, Michigan. Not only are they doing their Insane Rumble, to get your title shot like their version of a Royal Rumble. I'm excited because Danhausen's going to be there. Anybody that knows me knows I've been a fan of Danhausen for many years. And legitimately, one of the reasons I'm going is to see Danhausen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that. Also, on August 24th, myself and a good friend of ours, and possibly, we're talking about it right now, maybe we get some sort of meetup from some of the guys from the Main Event Wrestling Network. I know there's some in the area. We're talking about maybe doing something. August 24th at I'm butchering this, the Calumet Center in Dayton, Ohio. Wrestling Revolver, which, we've been trying to go for years because, we live the opposite end of the state. They're doing a doubleheader. An afternoon and an evening show. They have what's called Wrestling Revolver Fight Club, which is basically cage match, no ropes, 3-minute round type, like an MMA style. Like anybody that's familiar with Josh Barnett's Bloodsport that GCW helps put together, something similar, but more of a cage match than like a no ropes grapple fest.
Cool.
They've already announced one of the matches. It's going to be Matt Makowski versus Speedball Mike Bailey. We're both big Speedball fans.
Yeah, we saw him when we went to Against All Odds last year.
Yeah, speaking of which, that evening is going to be Taste of Truth from Wrestling Revolver. I do get to see the one guy I wanted to see from TNA that we weren't able to see because of an injury. We are getting the big match. I'm probably, other than, we're getting the Rascals, we're getting Manders, we're getting Matt Riddle, we're getting all the big guys that you would normally see at Wrestling Revolver. We're getting Speedball versus Josh Alexander.
Ooh.
I am so excited for that because big Josh Alexander fan, and he was the one guy, because he had an injury, that I didn't get a chance to see it against All Odds. So him versus Speedball is going to be amazeballs. So if you see me at either one of those three shows, obviously come up and say hi. Like I said, we may be doing some sort of meet up with some of the guys from Main Event Wrestling Network. So if you see us, obviously come say hi. $75 for a picture, $200 for an autograph.
Oh, good grief, Xander.
Hey, man, your boy doesn't want to work for the man out rest of his life. No, but seriously, if you come see us, come say hi, obviously. Yeah, this is going to be the one in Michigan. The IWR is going to be the 5th state I've seen wrestling in.
Oh, cool. What are the other 4?
It's going to be Michigan, Ohio, Texas, New York, and 6, counting the one I was on, the one show I did out of New York. So it's going to be Ohio, Michigan, Texas, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Gotcha.
Because Connecticut, we told that story during our issue 0 episode, where I met Mercedes Monet when she was Mercedes KB in the Independents.
Gotcha.
That was the one show I got to do in Connecticut. So that's where we're going to be at for the month of August. And speaking of which, because Halloween Havoc's coming up on our show, bro, you've known me for what, going on 10 years or so?
Close.
We might as well say we're on our 10 year.
Yeah,
Do I like to do things small?
you do not.
I'm very, how the term goes that nowadays, fuck it, we ball.
I gotcha.
Where it's like, if I'm going to go big, I'm going to go big. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first guest coming up for the Halloween Havoc episode. And obviously, we'll give more details as the time comes along. I will give you a clue right now. We've talked about them on the show already.
Hmm.
They've performed on one of the episodes of Dropkicks and Attractions. As in, like, we've talked about their match.
Right.
And this is like, when I say big, when I told you this, you couldn't believe it.
No, I could not.
Yeah, this is a thing. It's already, everything's basically set in stone. We just got to get the date, the correct date for the recording. But yeah, this is big. For the first guest, this is big.
This was someone whose name I actually knew, but I didn't know anything about them.
Let's put it this way. My thinking big finally paid off.
Ha! Love it.
Speaking of Raw, let's go to it. Monday Night Raw, October 4th, 1993. We're still in New Haven, Connecticut. And we open right away with the 20-man Battle Royal for a shot at the Intercontinental title. Because we established at the last episode, Shawn Michaels has been stripped of his Intercontinental title. And we are having a 20-man Battle Royal, which we discussed how... We'll go over the roster, but just how stacked, accolades-wise, how stacked this roster is.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's a 20-man Battle Royal that when they get down to the last two, those two men will wrestle next week on Raw for said Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I like the idea behind that. Go to the two finalists and then have them have a match.
Yeah, it's something a little, we're doing something a little different than just a Battle Royal. So we're going to go over one last time, and then we'll go over eliminations. Like, if you guys saw our Royal Rumble 93 episode, something similar concept of how we did that. Because this was half the episode, damn near half the episode.
Yeah.
We get Razor Ramon, Model Rick Martel, IRS, the 1-2-3 Kid, the MVP, not that MVP, but this is most valuable player. This was Steve Lombardi dressed as a failed member of the Baseball Furies from the Warriors. There you go. You like that? I love that movie. But we'll see him more in 94 during the baseball strike under a different name. But this is just basically Steve Lombardi with his face painted to look like a baseball. And he's dressed in like a baseball uniform.
Right.
Mr. Perfect, Diesel, Adam Bomb, Bam Bam Bigelow, Macho Man, Pierre and Jacques, both Quebecers, Giant Gonzalez, Marty Jannetty, Bastion Booger, Owen Hart, Tatanka, Mabel, Bob Backlund, and Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And now we know why he was on Raw last week.
Right.
So I noticed some of the guys some of the guys are already in the ring when the show starts.
Yeah, first person we actually see enter is Tatanka. His music hits right after the title sequence.
Yeah, we get Tatanka, we get Adam Bomb, Razor Ramon, and the Quebecers. We go to commercial. Come back from commercial. We get Giant Gonzalez and the Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then obviously, ding, ding, ding. Everybody piles on everybody because everybody's already in the ring. This is going to be, honestly, given that we had a little bit of story, they gave it time to go. This honestly was a pretty good Battle Royal for a Battle Royal.
I agree. I liked this.
I was like pleasantly surprised on how, once again, it's for a title. There's a wrinkle on who gets the title shot or title. There's some storytelling involved. The announcers help different storylines that are going to be happening in the next several weeks. Like, this was a pretty decently told
Story.
Yeah. Once again, Battle Royals usually don't get stories, so this was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I know this was going to happen right away. Basically, everybody got together and eliminated Giant Gonzalez. He's the first one out. And this is actually basically his... This is, for all intents and purposes, this is his last appearance in WWF in total.
Well, Savage knows what to do. You saw him come down the aisle, took off the jacket, took off the hat, took off the glasses. He's ready for action. He attacked the biggest man there to get the biggest man out the quickest. He knows what to do to win. He's not your average Slim Jim, you know.
I love Bobby. He's quick, very quick-witted.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. I've really come to appreciate him since we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, just watch his stuff hit prior to this where he was a manager. It's even better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there honestly, other than Giant Gonzalez, for the first several minutes, there weren't any really real eliminations.
Yeah, like I kept track of when each elimination happened. The next one isn't until 9 minutes into the broadcast.
Yeah, and basically I noticed as soon as I said, hey, there's been known eliminations in the notes, we got our next one. Diesel eliminated Mabel by himself.
Yeah.
Because you forget, this is 93 Kevin Nash, this is 93 Diesel. He's never been exactly weak.
Mm-hmm.
But he just straight up soloed Mabel.
And there was a point Bobby had talking about Diesel a little before that. Like, it might be easy to push him out because he's so tall, which means he's got the higher center of gravity. And then we also saw Giant Gonzalez was still holding the top rope when his feet hit the floor because he's that tall. And that's a concern for Diesel, too.
Yeah, because this is a very, both feet have to touch the floor like most Battle Royals or Royal Rumbles, which actually will come into play at the 95 Royal Rumble.
Oh, interesting.
That's where the famous one foot touch the ground, the famous 1 foot that you see in every video package for the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
That's the 95 one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then we see, like I said, Diesel got soloed Mabel, Razor Ramon eliminated IRS.
Furthering that feud.
Yep. Bash and Booger just chucked the kid over the top rope. And then Diesel gets eliminated by Mr. Perfect right before we go to commercial. And then, I don't know if you caught this, but we come back for commercial, and I know they said that Bob Backlund was eliminated, and I just didn't see who. Like who, I don't know if you caught that, because they didn't say who.
It was Rick Martel.
Oh, was it Rick Martel? Okay, it was Rick Martel. So Backlund is eliminated by Rick Martel. Like, I couldn't catch it, so, which is nice when it's,
So yeah, like it happened literally as the screen was fading back in.
Yeah, so like when you have 8 eyes, it's kind of, or octo eyes. And then Martel gets another one pretty quick after that. He eliminates Snuka.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Bam Bam eliminating Mr. Perfect. And this is where I was like, as quick-witted as Bobby is, he's also... Yeah, we can call him Mr. Obvious.
Who is the MVP, Bobby Heenan?
He's the guy in the baseball uniform.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll mention it.
Indeed.
And then I noticed that Jannetty was eliminated Adam Bomb. I noticed that we're giving guys like Adam Bomb, Bastion Booger, other guys, eliminations where, like, you wouldn't expect, like, guys of that
caliber.
Of their position on the card, you wouldn't expect them to be eliminating, the 1, 2, 3 kid, Marty Jannetty. But,
right.
And then surprisingly, Tatanka gets eliminated by Bam Bam. But remember, still undefeated because he's never been pinned.
Right.
Because, Battle Royals don't count and house shows don't count. Remember, house shows only count when they count.
And yeah, they don't count until they do, I believe you said once.
Basically, yeah. Like, house show, like, there was a time where, the one I remember specifically, where I love using this as an example, is Umaga. He was, undefeated for months and months and months and months. Ultimately, John Cena beats him in a last man standing match,
Uh-huh.
Well, one of his bigger feuds was with Kane. And... obviously on TV, Kane never beat him for one reason or another, shenanigans. There was a house show where Kane it was in Tennessee because, Kane's from Tennessee, so this is probably, hey, we're throwing a hometown guy a bone.
Right.
Kane did beat Umaga on a house show. But remember, house shows only count when they count.
Right.
So, yeah, he got eliminated, but technically he's undefeated still. But honestly, that's not going to be much longer, honestly. His undefeated streak, yeah, it's going to be happening here shortly. We noticed... Booger does get eliminated by Savage, and then right before our next commercial, we're getting ready to get into segment 3, Bam Bam gets eliminated by Razor, and we go to commercial.
Yeah, there were no eliminations during the commercial.
Yeah, so we come back, we do see that MVP has been eliminated by Owen, who's rocking his Rocket Owen Hart kind of blue blazer looking gear.
Mm-hmm.
But who gets eliminated by Jacques, and I was like, whoo, they were talking about Owen, obviously, Bobby's got to make fun of the Hart family because it's Owen, it's Brett, it's what you do. Making a Good Son reference, and I'm like, I hope, Owen was not like the Good Son. I've seen the Good Son more than once.
Yeah, I know it mostly from the Nostalgia Critic review where he lost his voice and had to do the entire thing with subtitles and cue cards.
Uh-huh. No, it's a decent movie, but it's like, the Good Son, that's far-fetched.
Yeah.
Great movie. Like, it's a good early mid-90s thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Or, Macaulay Culkin's got early Elijah Wood in it.
Yeah.
Like if you like Good Son, The Bad Seed from the 50s, another one from the early 90s is more of a slasher type of it. The same thing as Mikey. It's called Mikey. I've seen it a handful of times. It's basically more of a The Good Son's more of a thriller, and Mikey's more of a slasher type, but it's the same concept-ish.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. Like, you'll see the similarities, but Mikey's good. I like Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so we get down to our last, we get to, basically it's a 2-on-4. We see the good guys and the bad guys kind of like group up, you know how we're going to stand on opposite sides of the ring.
At this point, I'm hoping it's going to be Razor and Randy.
As the last two?
Yeah.
Okay, well, because we got Razor and Randy on one side, and on the other side we have the Quebecers, Adam Bomb, and Rick Martel.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically they're going to size each other up. We're jaw jacking. Hey, boo, boo, rawr. Adam Bomb doesn't get eliminated by Savage, but he pulls the Royal Rumble 92 Hulk Hogan moment. He grabs Randy while all the other guys throw him over the top. So your ending is not what you wanted.
No, it is not.
And basically for like the next several minutes, the remaining 3 bad guys just beat the dog shit out of Razor.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the New Day doing the unicorn step too, with how they're all trading off on beating the snot out of Razor.
Yeah, like this is like, yeah, they basically would. Rick would beat him on a trade off to one of the Quebecers, who would trade off on the other. Like this would go on for, 3-4 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a while. And then what had happened is that they look like they're getting, they have him soften up. We're going to win this. They go to, Jacques goes to clothesline Razor over the top, but Razor ducks, gets eliminated by Jacques because of the clothesline, and then Razor turns around and eliminates Pierre. So our winners, I would call it winners, because we were going to have to. Razor Ramon and Rick Martel will fight each other next week for the Intercontinental title.
I'm looking forward to that. This match took 19 minutes, 30 seconds, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, once again, for a Battle Royal, Battle Royals aren't not known for their story. We had a few storylines that are going to pay off. We got some action once, because you're not going to get a lot of more than like punches and kicks until there's room in a ring.
Right.
I've been in Battle Royals. That's basically what you do until you get space to do stuff. And once they got space to do stuff, they had space to move and space to tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we got the nice wrinkle. This was basically a number 1 contenders match for the Intercontinental title.
Right.
Yeah, so go to commercial, come back, and your favorites on TV now.
So yeah, we got Jim Cornette introducing the Heavenly Bodies, as you do.
Yep. And I know you were excited for this because you like your Jim Cornette.
Yeah, I was so mad that Vince and Bobby just talked over him. I couldn't make out a single word he said.
Well, he said about 875 words.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I noted that they're facing Mark Taylor and Scott Thomas. I got curious, so I decided to try to look them up. Is CageMatch.com the site you use for this kind of stuff?
No, but I know what you're looking for. And by the way, Scott Thomas, Scotty Too Hottie.
Oh, really? I did not realize that.
Yeah. His name is Scott Taylor, so it was like, Scott, one name, last name Taylor. But yeah, he's Mark Taylor. Mark Taylor, Scotty Too Hottie.
Oh, okay.
But that was because it threw me because his name's Scott Taylor, and the name's kind of split off between the two ring names.
And yeah, but as I was taking my notes, I kept getting Tom Pritchard and Bruce Pritchard mixed up, and that was annoying.
Yeah, no, that's Dr. Tom and Jimmy Del Rey. And I noticed that they damn near missed that clothesline during that match. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that was close.
Yeah, but I did like, speaking of Tom Pritchard, very nice top rope spine buster.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, like this was enhancement. Now we knew this was going to win. They basically double DDT'd one and double super kicked the other, and they got the win.
Yeah, 3 minutes, 39 seconds. Solid enhancement.
Mm-hmm. No notes.
No notes.
So we go to Clip for Superstars, and we're finally getting what I was dreading. We have the full face turn of Doink.
And I believe you said that at this point it is no longer Matt Bourne under the mask?
I think he did it towards the end of the year. I think it was by the end of the year.
Okay.
But we are full, because when I looked up, to verify all this, I think they said through December. So still only more than a couple months. But we have the full face turn Doink, and I don't like it.
Yeah, this bit was cringe.
But what it was a Cult from Superstars of Doink tormenting Bam Bam and Luna with water buckets, confetti. He tied a rope around the friggin' thing, so Bam Bam fell. Whoop-de-doo!
Good.
This is... And by the way, Heel Doink had an awesome theme song.
He did.
Face Doink, because we get the Face Doink theme song here when he comes out for his match against Corey Student. It was just the circus theme song. There was no. He comes out on a tricycle. He's throwing cotton candy to the kids and all this. Like people, he was tormenting like 3 weeks ago, but now he's throwing out cotton candy and treats and fun stuff, and people are okay with it all of a sudden.
Ugh.
You know, we ran into this with Doink. We ran into this with Razor. We ran into this with Lex Luger. Basically, instead of, the sudden face turn, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh yeah, we're cool with them now. Like, they were not good people like a week ago, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, man, we're cool.
Like, the turn is too abrupt.
At least for me, it's too abrupt. But basically, whoopee cushion for the win.
Yeah, that took 1:57, and this was boring enhancement to me.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. Basically, so out comes Bam Bam and Luna to argue with Doink, and Bam Bam barehanded just destroys Doink's wagon. I was like, the horror! When he's just taking all this time beating the wagon, and like, I got one image in my head while he's just destroying this wagon by barehanded.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
And then they just replayed like the last 2 or 3 minutes of the Battle Royal to end the show to, promote the Intercontinental title match next week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, solid. I mean, granted, the majority of the show was the Battle Royal, so there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, the Battle Royal was about 40% of the runtime.
Yeah, so solid. Other than the Doink match, it was solid.
Yeah, I'd give this a B.
Yeah, I'll give it a B.
What was your match of shows, Xander?
Oh, the Battle Royal.
Agreed.
And then we go to WCW Saturday Night, October 9th, 1993. We are 2 weeks out from Halloween Havoc. We got this show next week, and then the night before, the go-home show. So we have, counting this one, we have 3 WCW Saturday Nights before Halloween Havoc. So, and we go into, basically right from the start. By the way, Jesse's not going to be on camera at all this week.
Yeah, was he not in the studio? Do you know?
I'm guessing because they had mentioned, because you remember when they said he was in a movie at the beginning of the year?
Right, Demolition Man.
Yeah, and I guess they're getting ready to release it. So I imagine this was a lot of like, their commentary was like post-production. So it's like he probably just wasn't there because he was doing Demolition Man or something. Which, by the way, if you've seen Demolition Man, he only has maybe like, I like how he builds it up that he's this big star in Demolition Man. He has maybe a line or two.
So it's a glorified cameo, basically.
Yeah, he plays one of Wesley Snipes' thugs at the climax of the movie.
Okay.
He's in it. Like, it's not that he's like, whatever, but it's like, Yeah. But again, love Demolition Man.
Heard good things, never seen it.
I know it's usually not your thing if you like early to mid-90s action flicks. It's great. Plus, it's got my girl Sandra Bullock in it, who definitely listens to the show.
Just keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, I do. One of these days, someday my prince will come. But yeah, we go right. Everybody's in the ring already. We got Nasty Boys with Missy Hyatt versus Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah, this is going to be a great match.
Yeah, basically this was a very quick back and forth at the beginning, and then Scorpio went for the splash too early. My man hit the mat so hard he bounced.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, oh lordy, my man got hit the mat and then got another few inches off the ground off that splash.
Yeah, Jesse calls it out too.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I've said it time and time again. You like to go up to that top rope, you better hit your target, because if you don't, the whole match changes. And that's exactly what Too Cold's looking at right here.
But yeah, he's right. Like, you just boom. Like, it's called high risk for a reason. High risk, high reward.
Right.
Nasty Boys basically for the first half of this match are just keeping it outside. Once again, Nasty Boys, they're just there to punch you in the teeth. They want you to lose as many teeth as they have lost.
Right.
And once again, I was a fan of Nasty Boys now. Then as a kid, I kind of still appreciate the Nasty Boys. And Sags was actually able to even get a chair shot behind the ref's back, and that's just something you really didn't see a lot of in '93.
And yeah, Scorpio was the face Imperial here for a long ass time.
He was the Ricky Morton.
Mm-hmm.
Bagwell does get a hot tag after several minutes, and he's House of Fire. He's taking out both Nasty Boys by himself, and I like how they did mention this in the commentary, that usually you get the hot tag, the guy's out on the apron, but then all of a sudden he comes in, second win, and he starts fighting too. And then I think was it Jesse that mentioned that Scorpio's still out there after a couple minutes?
I think so.
Yeah. Speaking of Scorpio, here's the thing. During the whole, Pier 6 at the end of the match, Scorpio gets over the top rope, and Tony's like, oh, careful, it could be DQ. And I'm thinking, if Scorpio's not the legal man, because the legal men are Jerry Saggs and Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Mhm.
If you throw the non-legal man over the top rope, how could that be a DQ?
Right, and I know I took specific note of that Scorpio was not the legal man at that point.
Yeah, but I was like, is that a DQ if you throw the non-legal man over the top? Like, how does that work?
Who knows?
Yeah, but basically everything happens, everything breaks down into a brawl, but Bagwell gets the fisherman suplex for the win, and I would consider this an upset, because these are the new tag champs.
Yeah, this took 9 minutes and 10 seconds. Great opening.
Yeah, good opening match. Tony's with the winners after the commercial. Bagwell's like, hey, look, we won a title shot, we just beat the tag champs, I think, we should be in line for a title shot, which I kind of get the agree that if you're in a 9-title match, and you beat the champion in a non-title match, you should at least be in the running for a title shot.
It still works like that in wrestling even today, doesn't it?
For the most part, but I'm just like, yeah, for some reason, if it's like a one-on-one and you beat the champion, you should be at least, maybe not necessarily the next title shot, but you should be at least in the running.
In the conversation.
Yeah. And I like how Missy comes out and she goes, no, you guys got to start at the bottom. You guys got to fight. It's like, no, we just beat the champs. We won our shot. We just beat them.
Yeah.
So they kind of just be like, no, yeah, if we just didn't win. We got Charlie Norris next. Charlie Norris, Rip Rogers. The big thing coming out of this match is we're getting Sting versus Sid for Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Charlie Norris wins with a big boot.
Yeah, Rip gave a good account of himself for a bit, but once Charlie took over, that was all she wrote. 2 minutes, 51 seconds.
Yeah, once again, don't like this.
I wasn't a fan.
No. But yeah, that was the big notes. We got Sting versus Sid at Halloween Havoc. Like, once again, sure, he was a nice guy. I just can't get behind Charlie Norris.
Uh-huh.
I just haven't been able to find that match yet. Or
You haven't found the key to unlock him, basically.
And he's not going to be around much longer, so I don't think I'm going to get the key.
Okay.
So Tony is backstage with Ricky Steamboat talking about his title match with Vader. Great promo. It's Ricky Steamboat, my all-time favorite.
Yeah, recall the story of David and Goliath. Love it.
Yep, and I mean, we're getting a world title match tonight, as well as a TV title match.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, it's Arn Anderson and Regal. I get my Arn Anderson and Regal match I wanted.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of Halloween Havoc, we do get the Halloween Havoc Control Center, and they have confirmed because of the win, Bagwell and Scorpio will get that tag title match with the Nasty Boys at the pay-per-view.
Hell yeah.
Sting is talking about his comments about his match at Halloween Havoc. He's like, look, I'm not the franchise. I'm Sting. I'm not hard to find.
Right.
And we're going to get Rhodes versus Austin for the U.S. title, which is going to be awesome.
Shaping up to be a really stacked card.
Yeah, and we're also getting Bulldog versus Regal for the TV title, which is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to our next match. Harlem Heat, once again, one of my favorite tag teams in WCW. I think they're probably at least in my top 10 of all time. I love Harlem Heat. We get Mark Starr and Sam Houston. Now Sam Houston. I know you don't know this.
No, I do not know anything about Sam Houston.
Okay, Sam Houston had a good run in WWF in their like mid 80s, kind of like a lower card kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sister was Rockin' Robin, who was a former WWF Women's Champion, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
However, his brother is one of my all-time favorites, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, really?
That is Jake the Snake Roberts' brother.
Did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Or as Brian Zane would say,
Jacob the Snake of Roberts.
But basically, it was enhancement match. Sam Houston, how do you put it? Like, gave a good
account of himself.
He actually did hit some sort of like, looked like he was going for a pile driver, and then felt he didn't have it, just went for like a face buster, which like I thought was a good recovery.
Yeah.
And then, but basically this was enhancement. Harlem Heat got their stuff in. He goes for the face buster. Booker T hits him from behind, and they switch the pin for the win.
3 minutes, 9 seconds. Not bad.
No. It was kind of nice to see Sam Houston, because, I remember watching him, like, if you watch, like, a lot of, like, the first year or two of, like, Survivor Series, I think he might have been in one of the first couple of Royal Rumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, late 80s WWF. He was always a lower card guy. Tony is back, and he's talking about Steve Austin, talking about his match with the title. He was like, I don't know how I got it, but I got it. I told you I was going to get it. Once again, Austin on the mic. We're not going to complain.
Always a good time.
However, Colonel Parker comes out and says he's the one that got the title match for Austin.
And that surprised me.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. Speaking of Colonel Parker, he heads to the ring because his man Sid has a match with Dave Hart. Poor Dave Hart.
Yeah, Dave literally does nothing.
Yeah, other than take the powerbomb.
Minute 23.
Yeah, once again, we're getting Sid.
Yeah.
Tony is ringside with Sid, and Sid is furious. And I would not get a man that size furious. He basically says, why the hell? Austin's not even one of your guys. How did you get him a title shot? You didn't get me one. If you pull shit like that again, you're fired.
Oh, yeah, he was furious.
I do not want to get a man like Sid mad.
Definitely not.
So here we go. We get Dustin Rhodes and the Shockmaster versus Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce. And god damn it, that all the goodwill that the Shockmaster had with that promo last week, it's gone already.
Yeah.
Because we got to have him trip every fucking time he's on TV.
I really wish they would stop hammering that drum because I saw him wrestle a bit here. It seemed legit.
Yeah, like I said, for those that don't know, Shockmaster was Tugboat in WWF. He was Typhoon in WWF. He was a former tag champion with Earthquake as the Natural Disasters. He's a big, decent big man. Mm-hmm. But goofy.
Yeah.
Going up against Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce. This honestly, once we got past all the friggin' chicanery and bullshit, wasn't a bad match.
No, not at all.
It was just once we let the Shockmaster go for more than a minute, he's good. Fred Ottman was good as a big man. Fred Ottman was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
He actually gets the bear hug for the win.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 8 seconds. And I actually noted, we haven't really gotten to see Shockmaster because it was all the brouhaha with the trip on Flair for the gold.
Yeah, and then when he did, he got into the match at Fall Brawl, he was in there maybe a whole minute?
Yeah, like he ended that match almost as soon as he got in.
Yeah, like this is the longest we've seen the Shock. Like I said, Fred Ottman was good. And we're just settled because, that whole mistake, he's basically not going to live this down the rest of the time he's in WCW as the Shockmaster.
Gotcha.
But the funny thing was, nowadays, he does a lot of the convention circuits and stuff. Mm-hmm. He's come to terms with it. He enjoys it. Like, he's like, I get it. Shit happened. It's goofy. I have no ill will with it. Matter of fact, a lot of times if you go to conventions, he has a glittery Shockmaster helmet, like, on the table. Like, you can take a picture with him holding the Shockmaster helmet. You're going to get, like, he has fun with it now.
Gotcha.
So it's like, he come to terms with it. He's like, yeah, it was goofy, but you know what? People remember it. I'm not going to, poo on it too much. But like I said, you can go to, like, conventions, or if he's like, hey, there's a meet and greet with Fred Ottman at, indie show. A lot of times he'll have a glittery Stormtrooper helmet on the table. Like, I like that he humors it now.
I gotcha.
He finds the humor in it. But I can just imagine how pissed you were after all this shit. By the way, we do the amateur challenge. These amateur challenges weren't that bad.
Yeah, all respect to these three for trying.
Speaking of, remember when I said a long, long, long time ago, this was probably, weeks, if not a couple months ago, on 93, when I said, eventually you're going to find somebody who is a name now who literally just wrestled last week on this right now?
I remember you telling me that.
This is the week.
And I did not get it.
The second one. They had the white guy with the sunglasses and the crew cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking Matt Hardy.
Yeah, I did not realize that when I took my notes.
That was Big Money Matt Hardy. Broken Matt Hardy, Team Extreme, Hardy Boys, whatever you want to call him. That is Brother Matt right there. That is Matt Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like, I was like, oh, like I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. So when I saw that, I'm like, and he could cut a promo then.
Mm-hmm. That
was easily the best one we've seen by far, and it's not even close.
Yeah, not remotely close.
No. And like I said, he would be enhancement talent. Him and Jeff would be enhancement talent in WWF, I think, within the next 2 years. They may have fudged their ages a little bit to get on TV to get the enhancement stuff. But yeah, I would say within 2 years, they're on television.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, I remember you telling me about that when we were, during a conversation we had just about the Hardys in general.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, so we go to... I was surprised to see this. Never a problem to see him. He's on my list, probably top 5 all-time underrated wrestlers. Beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Mm-hmm. He's going up against Joe Edmonds here. Never heard of him.
No, but like I said, it's always nice to see Bobby Eaton. When we ever say Bobby Eaton is fantastic as a tag wrestler, he was in the Midnight Express, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Won several titles all over the U.S. He was in the Dangerous Alliance. Remember, I told you about that stable, one of the best stables of all time.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
He was a tag champion with Arn Anderson in that. He's been the TV champion. Like, he's one of those rare ones. He was an amazing tag wrestler, and he was also an amazing singles wrestler. He was remembered equally well for both. He was so good. And then I think this is the biggest you've seen Bobby Eaton, like, singly, where you can, like, focus on Bobby Eaton.
Yeah, but he put on a clinic in this match.
Oh, yeah. But like what I said, he was one of those wrestlers where you'll get a wrestler be like, oh, yeah, we know how good Bobby Eaton was. He's that one that every wrestler will tell you that he's good.
Right.
And here you go. Like, I liked him when I was a kid, but then once you get older and you really start studying and focusing, you're like, oh, he was good.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Look up the stuff especially since you love Jim Cornette, look up his run look up any of the matches he had as part of the Midnight Express.
Okay.
Like, matter of fact, look at like Midnight Express versus the Rock and Roll Express. There was Midnight Express versus the Road Warriors. Like, any Midnight Express with him and Jim Cornette.
Gotcha.
Once again, homework for everybody. Go fucking watch Bobby Eaton. Yeah, easy win with the Alabama Jam, that top rope blade drop, which that looked great too.
Yeah, it did. 4 minutes, 18 seconds.
Once again, I could watch Bobby Eaton all day. He's another one of those. I could watch Bobby Eaton all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into the man who puts Asian and Caucasian, Yoshi Kwan, with Harley Race, and Ric Flair, who comes out with Fifi. And I'm guessing, by the way, Fifi's dressed. She's not a maid anymore.
Yeah, Jesse decides he's going to be a little bit misogynistic here. Not cool, bruh.
It's par for the course.
Fair.
So we do say that the gold belt is not a recognized world title. Because, we talked about right around the beginning, right before Fall Brawl, that the NWA WCW broke away from the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically just a world title that's not recognized as a world title. So Ric Flair and Rick Rude are fighting for bling.
Right.
We'll see where that goes. There is some sort of payoff for that, but basically they're fighting for bling that is not recognized as a world title.
Right.
Here's the thing. Ric Flair gets knocked over the top rope. No DQ, which gives us the... Yeah, once again, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Inconsistent. You want to talk about inconsistent? Ric Flair got off a freaking top rope move.
He doesn't do that often.
Hardly, rarely. Like, I can count very few numbers. He blocks a spin kick and gets a backslide for the win.
7 minutes flat. Good stuff, but that ending was a little weird to me.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This actually shows you just how good Ric Flair was. This was Yoshi Kwan's best match. By far.
Okay.
Because, once again, all his enhancement talents were like, meh, cool stuff, but it was enhancement stuff. It was alright. The Bagwell match, okay. The Scorpio match where he lost by DQ, alright. The Cactus Jack match, it was not good. Ric Flair was able to get a good match out of Yoshi Kwan. This shows you just how good Ric Flair was.
Gotcha.
When I say Ric Flair, we say that Ric Flair was one of those guys that could wrestle a broom.
Right.
There you go. This was, like I said, this was easily Yoshi Kwan's best match that we've seen, and it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back, we got an interview. Tony is at Rick Rude's house, the world champion of some sort, world champion, but not world champion, but he's got the gold belt champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, thank you for inviting me in the home. And Rick Rude is like, as a champion, I should, make myself open for the public. So, you're welcome to come by anytime. Just call ahead of time. And I'm like, better man than me, Rick, because I'm like, do not call me, do not show up at my house. I don't want people at my house now. If I see somebody show up, I will look out the window. They didn't call. And I'll go back to the rest of the business. I don't care who it is. My mother can show up, and she knows that she'll at least call me ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
I won't answer the door. Because, one, nobody knows where I live, and I like to keep it that way.
Right.
Even the people I work with, nobody knows where I live. I think I've gotten a ride home from a handful of people. And most of those people don't even work there anymore. So, next to nobody knows where I live. It's great. But, yeah, this was a good promo about Rick Rude. Talking about, doesn't matter, recognized belt or not. He's basically going to, if they're not going to recognize it, I'm going to make them recognize it.
Right.
Once again, it's a Rick Rude promo. Fantastic.
Good stuff.
Fantastic promo. And then we get one of our next two amazing matches. Like I was told you, we were talking about this, I believe, yesterday. We were just chit-chatting, making sure we got our schedules lined up. This does not feel like a WCW Saturday Night. This feels like a Clash of the Champions.
Yeah, you said that to me.
Like, we're getting all the big names. We're getting multiple title matches. We're getting great matches. We're getting good promos. Like, everything about this screams a Clash of the Champions.
Yeah.
And that's one of those, now that I told you, now that you see it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And so we're getting the first of our two back-to-back title matches for the TV title. Arn Anderson versus Lord William Regal with Sir William. Excuse me, Lord Steven Regal. He's not William Regal yet. Lord Steven Regal. My apologies, sir.
With Sir William.
With Sir William. My apologies, your lordship. When I say this match was good, like when I tell you, Bacht, sir.
Yes.
When I say I love the good scientific chain wrestling technical stuff.
Yes.
Boom, there you go.
They were chaining all day, and it was amazing.
The scientific to a T, because people forget Arn scientifically was fucking good.
And you saw that here.
Yeah, and when I tell you Regal's one of the best when it comes to the scientific British style, you saw it here.
Yes.
This was a pure masterclass. This, by the way, this was a 15-minute time limit. That will come into play.
Yeah, Tony mentioned how Paul Orndorff is the TV champ, did the whole title only on the line for the first 10 minutes. That was some bullshit, and I'm glad they seem to have dispensed with it.
I hope so. Like, I don't know how much longer it goes with it, but I sure as hell hope so, because time limit draws, fine. As long as you don't overdo it, I'm cool with it.
Yes.
But this was like, I think this, I would, if I was, a wrestling trainer, I would put this match on as, watch this.
Yes.
There was so much that happened in this match in 15 minutes. Because, spoiler alert, there is a time limit draw. So, 15 minutes.
As I like to say, dense.
You couldn't get much more dense than this. Like, you know how most, like, you get like a sponge or washcloth has a saturation point where it can't take on any more water?
Yes.
This hit the saturation point with stuff you can put in it.
Hell yeah.
And, like, I can't, like, once again, this is one of those matches we could tell you everything that happens, but
we can't do it justice. You got to go watch it yourself.
Yeah, it's some shock about shocks. It's on fucking Peacock.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we had it.
Next week's on Peacock too. I'm spoiled.
The stream on Peacock may note that there were production difficulties.
Yeah, and that wasn't Peacock's fault. That was, the tapes that they got to begin with.
Right, and so I wonder if maybe that was the problem. That was why the last couple episodes weren't there. If it was problems with the tapes,
but we still got it. We still were able to find them, so it wasn't like we saw the episodes. There was no problems.
Right.
So, but who knows? Like, you have all these tapes. Put every episode out, not like that's my big beef with like the WWE Network and like Peacock. Hopefully, they fix this with Netflix coming in, January.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have all the... I want to watch the B and C shows. Don't just sprinkle. We're going to have you 2 in July and 1 in August, but not in September, October. We're going to give you 3 in November. Like, give me all of them.
Yes, agreed.
I will watch Wrestling Challenge all night. I will watch Pro. I will watch WCW Power Hour. I want to watch that. That's the stuff I want to watch.
Gotcha.
Because anybody can watch Nitro. Nothing wrong with Nitros or your SmackDowns or whatever. I want to watch the Cindies.
Right.
I want to watch the B and C shows. That's what I want to watch the Wrestling Challenge from 94. So anyways, we go through this is a perfectly back and forth match. Anderson does get the spine on the pine, the best spine buster that's ever been spine busted.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time he gets to the count, the bell rings before the ref can count to 3. Anderson thinks he wins the title. He doesn't. Time limit draw.
Yeah, time limit draw, 15 minutes. Great match.
Yeah, like I'm not usually a big fan of time limit draws unless they do it right.
Mm-hmm.
They did it right.
Agreed.
Speaking of 1/4 of my Mount Rushmore, we get to the number 1 of my Mount Rushmore because we get the WCW World Title match. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Big Van Vader with Harley Race. Basically, 2 of my top 10 of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Harley Race. We basically did do the entrances, back to commercial. I guess during the commercial, Race had tried to jump Steamboat. He knocked him down and locked in the figure 4. So Vader splashed him. So he had a rare mental hiccup. Ricky Steamboat doesn't do the mental hiccup. So basically, when you see this is what you're going to think.
You done goofed.
And we notice, like, we go through this, and obviously this is going to be Vader for the first half of it because Ricky Steamboat just got splashed by Vader.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a man to get up after that.
No, but and then you saw that Vader possibly hurt his hand. We don't know if that was real or not.
Yeah, I saw that.
But you also got to consider this is the man who had that famous match in Japan with Stan Hansen where his eye popped out of his socket.
Right, and then he put it back in and finished the match.
Basically, the only reason the eye wasn't dangling is because his eye swelled shut.
Ugh.
The swelling is what kept his eye from just dangling there like a horror movie.
Oh my gosh.
Like you watch a horror movie, the guy's eyeballs just dangling out of there. But yeah, no, it's swelling shut is basically his eye swelling shut saved his eyeball.
Yikes.
Yeah. By the way, it's a great match too.
Yeah, this was another good one.
Yeah. But no, I was talking about the Stan Hansen Vader match was great too.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Because
Okay.
they're both guys that like to work snug. And when when you get two guys that like to work snug and can take it.
Gotcha.
Ooh, it's that Japanese. We're gonna work a little tight tonight, brother. Ooh. Anyways, another solid match.
Yeah.
Ricky does get his comeback, and I fed Vader had it for a good 75% of the match.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, Vader does kick out the crossbody, which I get that. You know, Ricky. This makes sense to me while Vader's kicking out of the finisher, not just because it's Vader. You got to look at it as one. The first big move of the match, Ricky Steamboat got splashed on his core.
Yeah.
Big part of the crossbody, the body and crossbody.
Right.
And then Vader's just been beating on him this entire match. So, maybe his finishing move isn't at 100%.
Right.
And you got to have something almost at 100% to even get close to beating somebody like Vader, who hasn't been pinned on TV more than once this year that we've seen?
It has not happened often.
I can see a pinfall loss I can think of that we've covered on the show. I can think one. And that was the Beach Blast. Davey Boy Smith got the crucifix on him.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly think on television that the television matches we've seen, that is the one pinfall loss Vader has taken all year.
Gotcha.
So when you talk about a guy that's protected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ruff is down, and it looks like Ricky's trying to get his comeback. Yoshi Kwan comes down, and they just gang up on Steamboat. It's basically a 3-on-1. And then who comes down to save Ricky Steamboat?
Cactus Jack.
With his trusty
Scoop Shovel.
Yep. And he comes out, and him and Shovely. And obviously, they're going to call it DQ. Basically, Steamboat's going to get the DQ win. I couldn't tell it was either Steamboat got a DQ win or it was a double DQ somehow, but there was a disqualification in there somewhere.
9 minutes, 28 seconds. Good stuff.
Yeah. They were both, these last two matches were both good for completely different reasons.
Yeah, and that is how the show ends.
Yeah. Fuck it. This might be one of the best WCW Saturday Nights we've had ever.
Yeah, this was an A for sure.
100% A. The enhancements were just enhancement enough, minus the one, but we won't go there.
Mm-hmm.
We get a good road towards Halloween Havoc. We get the upset with the tag match at the beginning of the show. We got to see Bobby Eaton. We saw Ryoshi Kwan's best match he ever had. Two fantastic title matches, fantastic for different reasons. Your match of the show, sir.
Arn and Regal.
100%. Not only is that the match of Saturday night, that is the match of this week.
Agreed.
It might go into my top matches of 93, just in general.
Yeah, match of the week for me as well.
Match of the week, that might be one of my matches of the year, too. Absolutely fantastic match.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, the story they told with 15 minutes is fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Once again, if you begin the show, I gave you the dates that myself, unfortunately, Bob can't make it because of work and prior engagements. We're going to be at 3 shows in August, and it's possibility looking like we may do some sort of main event Wrestling Network meetup at the Wrestling Revolver shows at the end of August. So if you guys are in the Dayton area or you're coming to Wrestling Revolver, come look us out. Come see us. There may be I think a couple of the Wrestling Junkie guys are from the area, so we may do at least 3 of us get together.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously come see us, come say hi. Once again, I will be at IWR on the 1st, hanging out. They're doing their big Royal Rumble of the year. And plus, the main reason I'm going other than the Rumble, I'm a massive Danhausen fan. I get to meet Danhausen. That's all that matters.
Good deal, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. And, we'll see what we can do. We'll work on your schedule a little bit more to try to get you to more of these shows.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we're working on trying to get a merch store started. Got to make some phone calls. We're going to work on some stuff. I think I know where we're going, to open the store.
Alrighty.
So yeah, be on the lookout. Yeah, that's what I meant. Once again, new mouth, new English. Be on the lookout for that. Basically, t-shirts, shorts, that sort of thing. Just in time for back to school, holidays coming up, birthdays, anniversaries, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. There is a difference between a bar mitzvah and a bat mitzvah.
Bar is for men, bat is for women, right?
It's bat or bat, whatever it is. Yeah, but yeah, it's exactly what it is. Or just because you like us and you want to give us money. Or, how Danhausen says, give us monies.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. You can find us on Twitter. I promise, the Twitter page we say that we're going to use and we never do. That's both our faults.
Both our faults, yes.
You can find us at capital D and capital A Podcast One on Twitter, Twitter X, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We are also on Spotify, Good Pods, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Rumble. Thank you, everybody. We're getting great numbers. I'm very happy with the progress we made just from the beginning of the year to this year. The support you guys have given us is just, I'm going to use my word, flummoxed.
I love that word.
Yeah. So we're 100% humbled and appreciated by anybody who even listens to us for a little bit. So thank you very much for that. Where can we find you, sir? And what are you working on?
I am at Big Boct, BIGBOCT, pretty much everywhere. I've been having a little bit of difficulty with the Twitch. Just trying. I don't know why, but my settings never seem to stick between streaming sessions. But I think I finally have it down. So I'm hopefully getting back to that. 1 p.m. Eastern time, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Uh-huh. And are you still doing the commentating as well?
Yes, I'm trying. I do the commentary for Speed Gaming on the Super Metroid Zelda 3 combo randomizer. I try to do that every Monday evenings. That's usually at 9 p.m. Eastern if they get enough people to fire the ranks.
Okay.
The Techploration podcast, I decided I'm going to shelve that for now. Like right now, I'm happy just doing DNA plus the extra behind the scenes work that I do for the both of us.
Yeah.
And that's about all I've got. How about you, Xander?
I am on Xander Adventures everywhere. X, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I've been posting 6 days a week on YouTube. I've been put all my WWE 2K content over there. Mondays and Tuesdays, we're still doing basically the same schedule I had on Twitch we have on YouTube. Mondays and Tuesdays, my faction mode. Thursdays and Fridays is Universe when I started another Xander 3 shows. That way we can start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
I just won the NXT North American title.
Cool.
And then Wednesdays and Saturdays I did something fun, and this is where I'm happy that a short idea I had is succeeding. I'm basically going through alphabetical order every single character on the roster, which I think altogether is going to be close to like 200.
Holy crap! I didn't realize it was that many.
Yeah, plus you got all the DLCs that are coming out. Wednesdays and Sundays, I put just a short video out. I take alphabetically. I go take a wrestler. We wrestle one match. We show you the entrances, the signatures, the finishers, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Just something fun so you can see. It's like these videos are all like under like 8 minutes.
Just something low commitment that you can do in an hour.
I can have it up on you, including the recording, the thumbnails, because Canva has been a lifesaver. I swear to God, anybody that does any kind of content, if somebody like me who does not know how to do graphic design can figure out Canva, it's plus. And I'm not even getting deep on it. I'm using templates, and I can do it like that. But Canva's very intuitive.
I have the app. I've just never really looked at it.
I pay for it, and it's worth it. I actually pay for it.
Good to know.
But yeah, so the most recent one this past Wednesday, I put up Andre the Giant. So we'll have one up on Sunday. So basically, by the time this episode comes up, my next roster video will be up then. On Twitch, I've been doing Division 2. I'm absolutely been enamored with that game since the beta. So I have a character, Madre Xander. My own mother comes in the chat every so often. She dressed my character. So once again, if she comes in, if you're in chat when she's there, say hi. She's actually, as long as it took me to get her on Twitch, she's loving it.
Good to hear.
She likes talking with the people and everything. She's having a good time. So if you see Madre Xander in chat, that is my mother. So say hi. She dressed my character, and we're thinking about once a month we're gonna let her redress them.
I like that.
Just a little interaction. We're closing in on finishing the story mode with that, and we just hit 5,000 shotgun kills between both my profiles that I've had on the Division 2. We are now over 5,000.
Nice.
Which puts us well into the top 10% of at least PlayStation.
Very cool.
So, and then also, yes, retangibles is a thing. I'm trying to do a time management thing.
Yeah.
So, retangibles is pre-production. I don't even have a logo. I have a logo in my head.
Just got to get someone to make it.
And I already know who. I have a friend of ours, local artist. She does a lot of this kind of stuff. She's going to do my logos. We are going to get an updated DNA logo. We're going to get rid of, the TV and the video control, all that stuff. It doesn't fit anymore.
Right, since we just focus on the wrestling.
Yeah, so we are going to keep the DNA name. I do like the idea of the double helix, but we're going to revamp the logo, and I think we're going to wait to do the gear, clothes, merch. Merch was the word I was looking for. We're going to wait until we get to the gear for merch, so hopefully here soon. So, yeah. Once again, also, I'm going to reiterate this. Halloween Havoc coming up. Not this next... We got 2 episodes before Halloween Havoc. We got one coming up next show, and then 1 episode after that.
Mm-hmm.
Massive, huge guest. Our first guest, I lucked out on this one. We have a huge one.
Yeah, you swung for the fences, and it paid off.
Yeah, I finally hit a home run. And by the way, like I said, the only clue I'm going to give you right now, they have had a match on DNA at some point.
Okay.
And actually... It was not, actually, surprisingly, and I don't think you realize this, wasn't that long ago. We just did one of their matches no more a couple episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, very excited about that. Huge thank you to them. And I don't think you guys are going to understand why I'm excited until this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give you a clue. We're going to be talking about a WCW pay-per-view, but not a WCW wrestler.
Okay.
They never did WCW that I know of.
Okay.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is Dropkicks and Attractions, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Take care.